Good morning, writers. I'm Jacob Nordby. I'm so happy you're here for this silent writing session, and you'll forgive the slightly frantic vibes I might be sending out right now. I was driving as quickly as I could to get home. As I said just before I hit record, I tend to have that ADD superpower, but also Achilles heel of thinking I can do way more things in 20 minutes than is actually possible. So, but that does mean that a lot of times I do get more done in 20 minutes than most folks do. So, all right, let's see where you're from. I'm asking you to pop into chat where you're from so that we can all get a sense of ourselves, not just these interesting little digital rectangles. We're actually humans. Hermosa Beach, California, Greenville, South Carolina, New York City, Winnipeg Beach, Manitoba. I always think that's fun to see Winnipeg Beach, Manitoba, because I have to imagine people on a beach with their parkas on, lying out in the sun. It's probably not fair, is it, Heidi? Seattle, Washington. Hey, Joey from Albany, New York, Minneapolis, Chile, Central Illinois, Oakland, California, Gainesville, Dallas, Hibbing, rainy Hibbing, Minnesota. Hello, Tracy. Parrish, Florida, Ohio. Oh, Elizabeth, I might need to have help with this one. Kanai Alasla. I don't think I said that properly. Brooklyn, Richmond, Virginia, Savannah, Georgia, Santa Rosa, California. Hey, Molly, I'm sure you've all heard that's where I was born. Santa Rosa, California. I promptly left there, so I don't have any real memories of it. Boulder Creek, California. This is so much fun. I love this sense of being together and also creating that feeling of we're a community, we're not just isolated little boxes of insecurities and sense of what's that, imposter syndrome when we say we're writers. No, we're all here writing together, therefore we are writers. Hello from Truckee, Odette. I'll be driving through Truckee later this month when I drive to the writers retreat, so that's cool. I also watched that TV show called Hell on Wheels, and Truckee was featured in that. Melissa from West Sacramento, California. Hey, all right. Well, I'm so glad you're here, and thank you for your patience with me rolling right up to the very last second. And I want to get us started with an hour of writing. Just in chat, how many of you do really not know what silent writing is? I don't want to over explain it, but it is a very simple process, but there's a reason it works. So if you say no in chat, if there are a few no's come up, then I'll give you a short explanation. Otherwise, we'll just get right to it. Okay, some no's coming in. Hey, Benita from Delray Beach, Florida. Okay, good. Well, silent writing is a process that my writing community partner, Lauren Sapala, really put legs to years and years ago in where she lived in San Francisco and then in Seattle, and she called it the Right City Group. And she would get writers together. I see people still coming in. She would get writers together and they would sit there together quietly, silently for an hour and simply write. And she didn't know why it worked for a long time. Now she understands that silent writing creates a space where we are investing in this thing we call writing. And we sit here for an hour and we do our best not to look at our social media accounts or check email or do anything else other than just give ourselves this space to write together. Okay. You might find yourself feeling really bored or feeling really frustrated. And I would say if you have no other things to write about those feelings. You will find that as you pull any of the threads, they begin to open up more interesting things inside of you. You might find yourself saying, I'm so bored. You might find yourself thinking back to when you were a child and felt bored, or you felt like someone said that you should be doing more adult things rather than daydreaming. You might find yourself telling a story that opens up into an entire story. And if you need any other prompts, I would suggest the 3 questions that I use on a daily basis in my journal. Question number 1 is, how do I feel right now? Question number 2 is, what do I need right now? And these can be very, very mundane. I feel like I had a good night of sleep. I feel good. I feel tired. Or you can go into more metaphysical, existential things. I feel terrified about my life, or I feel terrified about writing, whatever it might be. How do I feel right now? What do I need right now? And then the third question, and this is a shift from really paying attention and getting grounded in what our feelings are in the moment and saying, what would I love? What would I love to create? Or how would I love to feel? That's often a twist on that question that helps me a lot if I'm in the middle of going through something difficult. Sometimes it's hard to see out there with some aspirational vision of what would I love to create, you know. I've used this question though, both to help myself create more sense of groundedness and anxiety relief in the present moment. I've also used it to create so many things in the last 6 or 7 years since I started doing that. So if you need any prompts, that would be what it would be. And I also want to pay respect to the fact that we're moving right up to a great big full moon. It's called the Hunter's Moon. And whether we believe in those kinds of signs or not, the point is the great big full moon affects all of us. It affects our state of mind. I was reading a Power Path write up on that. And let me just read that real quick. It might actually become fodder for you as you're writing today. I also want to say that in the last 4 months of silent writing sessions, I was able to longhand sit here and write the entirety of a very short new book. And I was astonished by how easily it came out of me. Usually books tend to be difficult, usually a lot of angst. Something about the silent writing process in the community of others, joining our energy together and investing that time. It's just sort of flowed out of me. And I'm careful saying that because I know sometimes writing isn't that easy, but I want to encourage you, I want to invite you to allow this to be a really easy time. Allow yourself to play, allow yourself to doodle, allow yourself to move around a little bit as a writer. Okay, so today's full moon, Sunday, October 9th, it comes up at 2:54 p.m. Mountain Time. It's known as the Hunter's Moon. This full moon comes, let me let Karen Channing in here. Known as the Hunter's Moon, this full moon comes with volatility and the potential for intense healing change. It is a fiery energy that can inspire you to engage in something new or resolve an old issue that needs to be addressed. Be careful you don't burn bridges or be quick to anger as a response to stress. An awareness, oh, she says here, this is Lena Stevens, she says, make sure to involve gratitude and the appreciation of beauty in your life and of those around you. An awareness of all your support. All your support will go a long way to seeing the glass half full instead of half empty and lacking. All right. Well, I think it's time that we get started. It is 10:10 my time, so we will go till 11:10 my time. So we have a full hour. Those of you who can and want to hang out and share a bit afterwards, I love to do that. We don't always do that during silent writing, but if you want to stay and share a bit, connect with each other, compare notes, I'll stay here for a while and do some of that. And with that, oh, I was going to light a candle to signal the beginning of our magical space here. So I'll do that. My sister, my older half sister, works for this Time Fragrance place, and they make these amazing candles. So I stay well supplied with amazing candles, and this one smells like fall. So that's what we're burning today as we write. All right, let's begin. I'm going to break silence just briefly here and say that we have about 20 minutes left. And if you've been having a hard time making things flow, that might be part of the problem, making them flow. I want to suggest that you set your own timer for 20 minutes and just let yourself write with barely picking the pen up off the page as easily and quickly, stream of consciousness as you can for 20 minutes. Let's see what happens with that. If you've been finding yourself stymied at all. Okay. If you're just joining us, welcome. We started about an hour ago, but we are writing for another 10 minutes quietly together. And then after that, we'll have a little time of sharing for those who want to hang out and do that. Um, don't worry, you didn't miss anything. We recorded this and we'll post a replay for those who just got here. All right, about one more minute. Let yourself sort of wrap up a little bit. All right, why don't we come on back for a minute here? Those of you who can hang out and connect and share a little bit, I would love that. If you have to go, I understand. Um, we have some really cool things coming up in the next week or so, and I'll share my screen in just a minute and show you that. But while we are coming back, just pop in chat a minute. Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, oh my God, I wrote like my hair was on fire. I can't believe how easy that was. And 1 being, I really just sat here um, and barely wrote it all or didn't write anything. How would you rate your session? This is not a score. This is simply, reflecting. Okay. Oh, bunch of stuff coming in. 9, 8, 7, 9, 8, 8, 8, 8, 9. Wow. 8, 6, 8, 9.5, 4 to 5, 8.5, 9. Partly reading this for the benefit of those who will catch this on replay also. They don't get to see the chat. 8, 9, 8. This makes me very happy. And by the way, it would make me happy if you were reporting 1s as well. Cherry says 10, though it took me a while to warm up. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to share something that Cherry sent me, daily poetry writing in April for the not NaNoWriMo, NaPoWriMo. It's a mantra, and I think it bears sharing with you, and you can feel free to copy this right out of the chat and paste it somewhere if you want. Let me see if I can get this figured out. I really liked it, Cherry, and appreciated you sharing it. Whoops, I'm having a hard time copying and pasting here. Let's see if we can get this figured out. Okay, here it is. Let me pop this in. But the mantra is here. I'm going to keep everybody muted just for a minute, and I can unmute you in a moment. This is my writing time. Whatever's done while I'm here is what's meant to be done. Whatever's written on these pages is what's meant to be written. I'm not judging myself or my writing. I'm just writing with unlimited access to the infinite creativity around and inside of me. So I'm settling in. It's time to write, and I'm ready to begin. I just loved that. I'm going to go back. Bunch of other thoughts coming in. Just glad to sit with my journal and get out some of the fluff in my head. Yes, awesome. I was doing great until the dogs had to go out. Yeah, 10, the flow was wonderful. Ooh, that's what great. 7 was really digging inside for words and meanings. Great insights. 8, okay. Yeah, this is really cool. And I feel like there's a reason for sharing our experience of it with each other. Always consent-based. You do not have to share anything you don't want to, but there's a real value in sharing this because it begins to further dissolve that sense of isolation, that sense of I'm the only one, whether it's struggling or having a great day. And so this allows us to reflect, acknowledge, but also acknowledge each other, acknowledge each other's process. Let me share a screen here. And then if you want to raise your hand using the little reactions button, just raise your hand. That I can, if you want to share on screen, that'd be great. Molly says, got some rewriting and editing done in one of the chapters in the book I'm working on. Yeah, see, one of the things that I just love about this practice together is it's one of those ways to give ourselves permission to simply show up and pay attention to what it is we want to create, and I just think that's so powerful. Oh, cool. Weber, I see your hand, and Deborah, I'll be right with you in just a minute. Really looking forward to that. Let me just pull something up just so you have a little preview of what's coming up this coming week and the next week. Those of you who are here for the Heal Plus Create Writers Retreat with Anne Lamott and the gang, that is so exciting. And I'm glad you're here to enjoy this. Is part of what we do with our writing community. And we'll be telling you more about that. Those of you who aren't members, we'll make an invitation so you'll know what's going on there. But this is at healcreate.org/events. I'll drop that link into the chat. I want to invite you to enjoy all of these things with us. All you have to do is RSVP. If you can see them, all you have to do is click through an RSVP. But on next Thursday, Karen Channing, who is here today, but she is not able to be present on the Zoom, but she tried to jump in a couple of times and then texted me and said, I can't get in, but I'm here writing. So she's with us in spirit, but she is a therapist and she's doing a doodling session next Thursday, which is so much fun. And it's also surprisingly deep. So if you want to think of ways, when we say heal and create, one of the things we do here is heal that connection to our inner creativity, our creative expression. One of the ways to do that is to learn how to play, learn how to return to things that maybe we did as children very naturally, but we tend to get shut off as adults, or we judge them. We say, that's just doodling. That's not good. Doodling, or that's not good enough. That's not good art. Doodling helps us, this practice helps us actually reconnect with a sense of, loosening up, freedom, accessing the right brain. Journaling the Possible with Linda Monk. It's coming up next Sunday. I'm so excited to share her with you. This is really using part of the practice we talked about earlier, what would I love? And then Dao Yin Yoga with Paul David Shea, again, moving that life force, creative energy around inside of us and really tapping into it. And then more silent writing with Lauren Sapala. And then this one, on the 23rd, Breathe Your Way Home. It's a breathwork session with Scott Stabile. Breathwork has become more and more of a thing, but a lot of people have never experienced it in this way. And this is a really special experience of learning to use your breath to open up, to move through the things inside of you that are knotted up and tangled. And so I see it as another wonderful way of restoring that connection to who you really are. I'm going to be there. I'm so excited. I've hired Scott to do a private session this coming week with my family. So he'll be in Santa Fe and we'll be gathering in my brother's living room, lying around on blankets and breathing together. But I wanted you to know this isn't just for you. I'm doing it also in my own life and with my family. So let's come back and grab your hands. I'm so excited. Let's see what other chats are coming in. A couple of people have to drop out. I get that. Loved writing, knowing others were gathered, listening, seeking, exploring. Yes. All right. Thank you. Always find the community to be helpful. Hannah says, starting with how I feel, I want to feel, got me put my feelings on paper with true honesty. Ooh, I love that. Okay, Weber, I want you to talk to me.
Okay.
Hey, my friend.
Hey.
It's good to see your face.
No, thank you. Good to see you. I've been getting ready for the retreat. I don't know if I get this to focus in. It's bird by bird.
Oh, awesome.
And I've been reading where she says to write, one thing to do is look back at your past and start writing about things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started, that's what I was doing. I was making some things and I realized that, how do I put this? I don't have videos, I have snapshots, and I don't mean physically, I mean in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I have, for example, really clear images of my dorm room from college. I don't remember anything that went on there in terms of seeing it happen. I can tell you about it, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
That seems, and I was sitting here and I thought, am I the only person who's like this? And I had this realization that I've had many times before. No, somebody else out there is this way. We all think we're the only ones who, and we never are.
Yeah.
So here's what I wrote. It's not the individual things about a person that make them unique. someone else doesn't like ketchup on their eggs. It is the combination of unique things that make us individuals.
Hmm. Did you read that again, Weber? That's beautiful.
It's not the individual things about a person that make them unique. Someone else doesn't like ketchup on their eggs. It is the combination of unique things that make us individuals.
Hmm. 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 I love that. Do you want to say anything more about that?
No, I mean, that's pretty much like I say, it's, and I don't know, the ketchup on the eggs thing was many, many years ago. I was staying with some family friends when I was a little boy. My mother was having surgery. And the gentleman, we had eggs for breakfast. He put ketchup on his eggs. And I thought, who would do that? And he said, well, you should try it. And I tried it. It was horrible. He loved it. I hated it. And so that's where that came from. But it's just a matter of, I realize there are all things we don't like, and you'll always find somebody who doesn't like something or does like something the same as you do, and not just like, but sees things the way you do.
Hmm.
And yet there will always be something about that person that is different from you.
Yeah.
And so it's not the individual likes, dislikes, visions that we have. It's the combination that makes me, me, and you. And yes, there will be commonalities, and yes, there will be differences.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So if you can, Weber, if you can go up to your view panel and just do a gallery so you can see everybody.
I can.
Those who have their face on. Okay, so let's just give Weber a hand. No, seriously. Yes, yes. And Weber, thank you for sharing like that. It
Sure.
takes something to show up in a group and share. And that's one of the things we seek to nurture here in this community, is truly supportive, like supportive. You get to experience being seen and acknowledged for what you just did. So thank you, man. I appreciate you. I got to meet Weber in Santa Fe. Wasn't it Santa Fe, Weber? Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was so fun, and we've stayed friends since then via social media. So it's just so much fun to see you again this way, and we're gonna cook up some other ways. So hopefully be able to do that hangout in person and have coffee like you mentioned by email the other day.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, that's so cool. Deborah, I want to hear from you now.
Hi.
Hey.
This was good. Actually, I think I wound up with something I can probably expand and write a little piece on besides, but it kind of turned into a journal entry towards the end. But it has to do kind of with where I am right now, but it's probably something that people have faced before. So I just want to share some of it with you. There comes a time in life when hopefully most everything in life is the way you'd like it. Living near family and having the freedom to do what you want when you want without the constraints of work. If you work, it's because you want to, and you do what you love to do. This is where I am at. And the strange thing is now that life is pretty much how I'd like it to be. I don't know what to do with it. When you spend 65 years striving and at times thriving, it's hard to know how to be when most of that striving no longer is present, when the constant drama of certain family members, friends, and community has fallen to a low rumble rather than an incessant roar. The silence and peace is wonderful, yet that is when inertia kicks in. Inertia. That feeling of immobility, masking boredom of one's own self-infliction, that energy that allows procrastination to kick in, and the wasting of time through mindless iPad apps or crafts you enjoy, yet really aren't lifting your spirits. There's this desire to become a hermit, and yet my soul is screaming, no, 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 no. And the funny thing is, I realize I'm just as alone where I'm living now as I was when we lived in a town of 50,000 and not 6,000. And then I went on and kind of became a journal entry as I worked through all of that. But it's just kind of an interesting place to be. But I'm sure I'm not the only one who's dealt with that.
Am I hearing, Deborah, am I hearing you really acknowledging a period of transition into a new identity. Is that part of it?
Yeah, what it is growing up in the 50s and 60s, I grew up with this image of what being a homemaker. Okay.
Mhm.
And when I got married in the 70s, things were changing a lot, but we kind of comfortably fell in that role, even though my husband didn't require it. I felt comfortable with it.
Mhm.
But I mean, we're in a place now, it was one of those things. I would go and do my stuff when he was at work and our daughter was at school. But when he would come home, I would always do, it would be our time to be together. But otherwise, house cleaning and everything else I would do when he wasn't home. Now he's home all the time. So what do I do? And it's one of those things. It's like part of me is always, okay, what are we going to do? And I'm not really pushing to do these things.
Mhm.
And it's this mindset that's become ingrained
Mhm.
that no longer works.
Yeah. So interesting, Deborah, that we're here during this, full moon period. And the Power Path folks said that, they love the themes, the monthly theme. And they said
Mhm.
October is a month of their theme is tumultuous transitions. And I don't know that it always has to be tumultuous, but even just recognizing that the energy of transition is strong in a lot of us. I think that's really useful. And, I might recommend to all of us who, whether we want to just pretend that there's energy around a full moon or we actually really feel that, I would love to, just for your psyche, invite you to do a private ritual today. We need rituals. Carl Jung talks about that a lot. We crave them, meaningful rituals. For example, I have a little article in my house here that represents a connection to a previous relationship that I really love this thing. It's a leather cuff that I had custom made by an artist in Santa Fe. But this person gave it back to me, and I just feel like it's something I need to let go of. So later today, I'm going to go out and have a small ritual where I, start a little fire with some sagebrush sticks and let this thing go. And it's not an act of violence. It's an act of release. It's just saying, thank you for this experience. And I'm going to release the energy around this rather than hold it in my awareness and in my physical space. So that's an example of a release ritual, and it can be very simple. It doesn't have to be as mystical as all that, but something that sends messages to your psyche that I am acknowledging something I would love to release, whether it's a situation or an old pattern or some particular thing that just doesn't feel like it belongs in your life anymore. This would be an interesting day to do that. Deborah, thank you so much. And let's see here. I'm seeing, Deborah, by the way, I'm seeing a lot of comments coming in here. You might want to read the chat. Folks are just saying thank you for sharing that. And I thank you for sharing that. Let's all give Deborah a hand. Weber, I saw your hand up for a minute. Do you have something else to say? Oh, and I'm giving you a hand also, Deborah.
Yes. Just real quick. I taught middle school for 25 years. If you don't think there's energy around the full moon, go sit in the 6th grade classroom this week.
Well, see, that's the funny thing. And again, I'm sensitive to the fact that there's all different levels of experience or interest in some of these natural energies. But oh my God, any police officer, nurse, school teacher I've ever talked to, and any parent I've talked to is like, no, when I paid attention, that's when nobody could fall asleep and we were all a little bit batshit, So, oh, Heidi, you have your hand up. I would love to hear from you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Wow, this was
Hi, Heidi.
Experience. Hello. So I just want to thank you so much just for this opportunity. I'm working on a book on play, and I am just like a dog with a bone. I am going to play through this writing. So I've invited play into every part of it, even though the pieces of memoir in the writing are very emotionally charged and loaded.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a very a piece that I'm quite happy with, but I couldn't put it in context of my book. I couldn't find the beginning and the end and just have it. And when I really struggled until you came on and said, just go for it, let that pen lightly touch. And so I actually am thanking both you and the struggle, because I think I needed that struggle to just let it go. And the piece is about my last day on a vacation in Mexico, where I was just saying goodbye to everything I had found in myself, and knew I was going home to a very, very difficult time at Winnipeg, on the beach in the park.
Heidi,
Anyway.
I love all the color around you there. That's beautiful in your jacket and everything. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure most of us are aware of the experiment they did with a butterfly that was trying to come out of its cocoon or its chrysalis, and the researcher cracked the shell and tried to help it out, and then it found that because of that, it didn't have the benefit of the struggle that it needed to actually fill its wings up with the needed juices so it could actually have wings and fly. And so I love that you acknowledge that as being an important part of it. Like, we can't take the struggle out of it always. And Heidi, I loved how you did a little tweak to dog with a bone. You said, I want to play with it like a dog with a bone, because a lot of times we think like a dog with a bone, it's grim and serious and it's hard. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. No, dogs like to play with a bone. So that's a really neat twisted phrase. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I just share my little sentences just at the beginning where
Of course,
you said,
please. Yes, of course.
because I was really struggling. And then when you said just barely touch the page, I went, walking and traveling, searching and yearning. I feel this book inside me is absolutely aching to get out. Something greater calls to me, and I allow the pen to barely touch the page as I curl my thoughts into words. I invite intervention of the divine. The joy of experience and wisdom drips off in inky meanderings like the boughs of bougainvillea, water falling onto the Mexican cobblestones on this, my last goodbye walk before I return home. So it just sets me up, and I found the ending to this piece. So thank you.
Oh man. Okay. Everyone give Heidi a great big hand. And also, goddamn, Heidi, you took me on a 3-sentence journey there. That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Oh my God, that was great. Okay, Victoria, I want to hear from you also. Where did you go? Hey.
Hi. I don't know if I want to talk after that, because that was so beautiful. Gosh. I think, Jake, what I wanted to say was I wanted to thank you, because I listened to your the thing, was it yesterday that you had yesterday or the day before, you mentioned that as a child you came out of your room and announced to your family that you wanted to become a writer. And I remember having that same experience as a child, wanting to write. But then when I graduated from high school, I realized that writing probably isn't going to be a very lucrative career, and I needed security in my life. So I just kind of gave it up as a serious thought. I continued to write as I became a checker in a grocery store, and later became a teacher, a middle school teacher for 28 years. Now that I'm retired, I feel like I'm taking pieces of everybody's little story here. I feel like, now I've got the time, I have no excuse. So I feel like I'm kind of in the same place you were at one point in your life. So I'm just grateful for this forum, because I feel like it's going to help encourage me to hopefully, do some writing and produce something that I'll be, happy with. So I just want to thank you guys.
Victoria, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. And I love that you said you feel like you're taking little bits from other people's stories. I mean, that's the example that we are seeing ourselves reflected, and we're realizing we are not alone in any of these things, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that you said, I no longer have the excuse not to do this. And let's just all give Victoria a hand, and also like send you our group support for that journey of reconnecting with, you know, those breadcrumbs, finding the breadcrumbs back home, because home, who you really are inside, still holds that vision and the possibility of it, and you can do it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I really never love anything that feels too exhorty, you know, like a motivational speech kind of thing. But I just want to encourage all of us, let's hold these tender dreams, these things that matter to us, because that's the same thing. What I've discovered is that the way people feel about their own creativity, that's the way we feel about ourselves. Like, that is not a separate thing. If something matters to you, making the investment in time and attention to give it space to develop, to become born, that's the same as saying, I matter. My life matters. I deserve to be born fully into what I would love in this life, you know? So, bunch of people have to go, and thank you so much for being here. Just look around the gallery at those who have their cameras on, and just, let's just send each other gratitude for making this space for each other and for ourselves. And I can't wait. Oh, I told you I was going to drop the events page link in here before we close, so you have a chance to go there and RSVP for anything you might want to experience with us. So I'm doing that now. Joey says, I have 3 different writing I've begun to work on from silent writing, and can and will continue to develop those. Oh, that's so good. And let me just say too, we are experiencing such an amazing gathering for this upcoming retreat. And this is not a sales pitch, but I just want to say, if you love this and you have friends in your life who you feel like would benefit from joining us before, during, and after, please send them to healcreatewrite.com. That'll take them to the information page. And we are going to be so full. I can't even tell you. We have almost 800 people from around the world on the live broadcast, and we're up almost at a full house for the in-person, which is such an exciting thing. I texted Anne Lamott yesterday, and she's like, this is terrific. I'm so excited to see everyone. And because of her you know, time restraint and energy, I didn't really dare to even ask for a book signing at the retreat, but she is going to. She wanted to, and so she is going to make time after her talk on the last evening to do some book signings. So that'll be exciting, as is SARK. So we're just gonna have such a fun time. All right. I am going to go do some other things and meet with my accountant. Today was the only day she could meet to talk about fun stuff like taxes. So we're going to go do that. Yeah, Weber just said the podcast with Scott had an audio dysfunction. Yeah, I got a ton of emails about that, Weber. So we actually took that one down. We're going to see if we can get that fixed. All right, I'm just looking all of your comments. Deep gratitude, this community of writers. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you for being here. And by the way, just want to reiterate, when I do this is not something that I can do alone. And so you showing up, whatever that metaphysical thing is, when we show up and gather and bring our intention and our time, attention here, something really cool happens, as we've seen together. So I'll see you again next week. And oh, by the way, you can always return to this, the same link that you went to RSVP for this. You can return to the same thing for the replay. I'll have that replay up in the next couple of hours. So if you need to sit with this video again, feel free to use it as many times as you want. All right. Have a wonderful weekend Sunday, guys. Bye.